right, everybody, welcome to the last leg of our journey for morphing shapes in After Effects. So what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and create a new composition. We are on, I don't know what I'm going to call this. I guess we're still working with shapes. Call it shapes 2. 600 by 600 pixels, a frame rate of 24 in 5 seconds is fine. Go ahead and hit OK. Let's go ahead and throw in a solid background layer. I'm going to choose a different color this time. Choose orange until I get my libraries up here. There we go. And I'm going to go to layer, solid settings, and let's go ahead and just pick something else. How about green? All right. So for this one, we're going to be creating shapes that are, native to the shape tool here in After Effects. So the first thing we're going to do is do a new shape layer. And the first shape that we're going to create is just a small ellipse up here in the upper left-hand corner. So let's just go ahead and create a small ellipse. And get the selection tool and kind of inch it up to the corner there. Now, I would like the fill, I'm going to make it just kind of like a dark gray, a really dark gray, so it's nice and easy to see. All right, so there's shape 1. Now we're going to make shape 2, and I'm going to show you how to make a burst of sorts. So let's go to layer, new shape layer. And again, as always, make sure you have your shape, creates shape box checked, not the mask. We're going to come over and we're going to choose the star tool. The star tool works the same in here as it does in Illustrator. I'm going to go ahead and draw a star. Now, if you use your arrow up and arrow down keys, you can go all the way down to a triangle. By the way, this is how you make a triangle if you want a triangle. We're going to go ahead and make a nice big starburst. And then, what is it? If I hold down Command, if I hold down the Command key, you can actually make the size of the star legs larger or smaller. I'm going to go ahead and make them fairly large there. All right, now I'm going to take this and kind of position it on the lower right-hand corner of the screen. All right, now we need to do a couple of things. We need to convert both of these shape layers, both of these shapes into Bezier paths, which makes them a path that kind of gets freed from the constraints of the original shape that it was. So we're going to do that to both of these. I'm going to have you toggle down on the circle. I should probably name these. So I'm going to go ahead and rename that circle. Circle? I did not spell that right. Circle. Okay, and then I'm gonna rename this one star because it's a star. All right, so in circle, I'm gonna toggle down under ellipse 1. I'm gonna toggle down ellipse path. I'm gonna click on ellipse path. I'm gonna control click it, and I need you to convert that to a Bezier path, okay? Go ahead and do that. You're going to see that your options kind of change here. When you toggle down path 1, you're going to see that more familiar looking path there. You can see the path is selected. What I'm going to have you do is go ahead and copy that. So you can go to Edit, Copy, or Command C. We're going to copy that path. And we're going to toggle it up. And we're going to go ahead and move to the star. So we're going to toggle down Polystar path, go ahead and convert that to a Bezier path, and then you're going to see that familiar path there. So what we want to do is we want to take our scrubbing tool all the way to the end of the timeline, and what we're going to tell After Effects is that at this point, we want this to be the path that the shape is. So we're going to do this a little bit backwards. And doing keyframes backwards is actually really helpful a lot of times. So we're going to toggle that on. We're going to go to the beginning of the path. Make sure you have the path selected. And we are going to paste, or Command V, this original circle shape up here. Now, when we toggle, or scrub, rather, you can see that a transformation takes place. It starts at the circle that we made and ends at that starburst. I'm going to toggle up star, and I'm going to hide the visibility of the first circle that I made because I don't need it. Now, when I hit the transformation, or, I play back the animation to myself, it's looking good. It needs to move a little bit faster, and you can see that there's actually some weird stuff going on right here with the starbursts as they kind of grow out. And that's just that it's moving too slow. It should really move faster for the viewer. So I'm going to bring this down to about halfway through, and let's see how that looks. Now we're going to do something that we haven't used yet, and this is the keyframe assistant. And the keyframe assistant is awesome. So if we click on a keyframe and control click, you're going to see the keyframe assistant. And we have a bunch of different commands that we can use here, but we're going to use easy ease in and easy ease out. And what that's going to do is it's going to ease the animation in and ease it out. And you'll see the difference here in just a moment. So let's ease it in on this side. So you see this turns into kind of an arrow shape. I'm going to come down to the end. Keyframe assistant. And we're going to ease out. You can see the hotkeys are F9, Shift, and Command variations here. Ease out. So now let's see how that animation is looking. It should be slow at the beginning, ramp up in the middle, and then slow down at the end. And we'll get more into that as time progresses. All right. So down in this corner, let's do another morph. Let's go ahead and make a new shape layer. And for this one, we're just going to go ahead and make a square. So if I hold Shift down with my rectangle tool, it's making a square. Well, it has rounded. Oh, I chose the rounded rectangle tool. That's why. Okay, holding Shift down, we're going to go ahead and make a square here. I'm going to move that over a bit here. And I'm going to go ahead and pick a different color for that. How about that really bright pink? Oh no, this shouldn't be allowed in screens. I don't think it's really too bright. I'm tempted to use it because I love bright colors, but it's just too much. Okay, so here we go. We've got our square here. Let's do a new shape layer. Let's have this one be a polygon. So this animation ends here. I'm going to have this one move up. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe I won't have it move up at all. We can just have it morph in the same place. But these can be at different spots so we can see what's going on. Okay, so we got a polygon tool here. I'm going to scale that up a little bit. And then for the last one, we're going to just draw whatever shape we want. So let's do new shape layer. I'm going to grab the pen tool, and I'm just going to draw a whatever shape. Okay, so there's our three main shapes. So for the square, we need to go down and release that rectangle shape into a Bezier path. So we're going to right-click on rectangle path, and say convert to Bezier path. Okay, it's going to change it. We are going to do the same thing here. And I'm on the wrong, there we go, polystar path. Let's convert that to a Bezier path. So we have our regular path here. And then the top layer, where is this? Did I drag it somewhere weird? Yes, I did. We're gonna put that on the top. This shape layer doesn't need to get converted because it's already a freeform path. So you're gonna see that regular path not associated with any of the shape tools. Okay, so we're gonna morph this from a square all the way to the shape. So what we need to do is in our second shape layer, we're gonna go ahead and highlight the shape here. We're gonna select the path and copy, toggle that up. We're gonna go down to the square, select the path. We're gonna move the scrubbing tool down to maybe like here. We're gonna paste. All right, I think I need to name these because I'm confusing myself. You see, it's best to just name things. So square, which is the one that we want to morph. This is a pentagon. By the way, with the pentagon shape, you can do the same thing as with the star tool. If you use your arrow tools up and down, you can change how many sides. You can change it to an octagon or whatever. This one I'll call blob. All right, and so actually I need to move these into the same area so that they're morphing in the same area. Let's go ahead and do that. So the square is the star of the show. That's where I'm gonna be transforming the path. So it starts off as a square here. We're gonna toggle on the animation for the path. Here's the first keyframe, it's a square. We're gonna move down a bit. We're gonna toggle down the pentagon until we get to the path here. Copy, toggle that back up, come on over to the square path here and paste. I'm not sure why that moved up. Let me just try that again. I don't know if it's doing that because of where it was drawn. I'm just gonna copy that again. Copy. Go back to the square. Move forward. And paste. Boy, that just really wants to move up there. Well, let's see what's going on here. I think that what we can do, since it's being, yeah, that's strange. Maybe that's because it was originally created in this spot. I'm not sure. Well, you know what? Let's just start with a clean slate real quick. Sometimes these little things just happen, and you will know by now you're running into lots of these types of things where they just don't quite work exactly. Even though I feel like I just did this 15 minutes ago and it worked just fine, it's just not working right now for me. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do another square. This time I'm just gonna make the shapes right on top of each other. I don't know, I feel like it's remembering that it was up here and somehow that means that it has a rule. And then let's just go ahead and go to the blob shape. We don't need to do 3. I think you kind of get the, you know, kind of get what's happening here and that you could morph several shapes. So we're gonna go to new shape layer. I'm gonna grab the pen tool here and I'm gonna make a blob that kind of goes across the bottom. Like so, it can just kind of be whatever. I'm gonna make sure that's a closed shape. All right, so we need to go to the square and we need to release it into a Bezier path. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the rectangle path there, convert to Bezier path, so we're all good. And then we're gonna take the path here of our blob shape. We're gonna copy that, toggle it up, toggle back down for the square onto the path. Now, I haven't set a keyframe yet here, so I want to set a keyframe as square here, and I want it to transfer into the blob as we get to, I don't know, let's say here. So I've already copied that, so now I'm just going to paste it. And you're going to see that it transformed. Oh, and it flipped around. Wow. Okay. Might not be exactly how I wanted it. I'm going to turn visibility off of the first blob that I made because I don't need it anymore. So you can see that it transformed like so, and it flipped around, which I'm not sure why it did that. But anyway, so that's how you can morph from one shape to another from your shape layers and your shape tool. I'm actually going to do one more thing. So this flipped around and turned into the blob. I'm actually going to move that keyframe to about here. And then I wanted to show you what you can do is just like we did on the first part of this. You get your selection tool and you click inside of the shape. You can continue to further manipulate this, you know, and add another keyframe there. Oh, that actually messed up the original square. How do I get back? I'm not sure. All right, so let's do one more thing on here because there's some kind of funny things happening here. Let's just do a small circle shape to a star. I'm going to undo that because I need to create a new shape layer. Create a circle here. Let's go ahead and change that to a different color. Maybe blue. No. Blue. Okay. All right. So here's our circle. Go ahead and create a new shape layer. And this is going to be a star. So I'm going to have it fall over relatively the same place. So I'm going to go ahead and create it and then move it here. So the star layer is on top. So I'm going to go ahead and rename that star. The circle is the one underneath it, and I'm not going to rename that because I'm pretty much just going to convert it to a Bezier path, and then I'm not going to use it anymore. So convert to Bezier path. Got the path selected here. We're going to copy, come up to the star, and maybe we'll have this one actually shrink to a circle instead of turn into something. So we'll have it be something exciting that turns into something boring. So I'm going to control, convert to Bezier path. All right, so now it's a star. And then as I move forward with the path selected, I'm going to go ahead and paste the circle shape on there. And then there's my original circle shape layer. I'm going to go ahead and toggle visibility off there. So here we have a nice morph that looks pretty good. I am going to hit S for scale on this one. I'm going to bring, oh, of course, the anchor point's in a weird spot. So I'm going to grab my anchor point tool for this last one, and I'm going to drag that over the center of the starburst. Then I'm going to bring the scale up. Oh, it's still not behaving. Wait, I'm just having all kinds of problems. It happens. All right, it could have been that I grabbed the wrong anchor point. It can get a little complicated with these shapes. Well, looks like I am moving the anchor point on the green layer, and that is not what I want to do. I need to have the star layer selected. That's what happened. I moved the anchor point for the wrong layer. All right, so now if I go into scale, it's going to grow from the center, which is what I wanted. Let's see what happens. So yeah, you are able to move that around and change the scale once you have the morphing applied to it. Okay, so that's some morphing shapes. Had a few problems with my keyframe. See, I have problems too, even though I've done things 10,000 times in the past. So anyway, what we're gonna do is go ahead and add this to Adobe Media Encoder, as always. I'm gonna tell it where you want it to save it. I don't want it to save it in a folder, just go to the desktop. And we're gonna go ahead and render that out. So what you should have for this tutorial to turn in are the 3 tasks that we completed. So working with organic abstract shapes, working with shapes that come from a library, that appear to morph, that aren't really morphing, and then working with shapes in After Effects, its shape layers, and actually morphing from one shape to another, and then to something abstract and organic if you want. These do not have to look exactly like mine do. I don't expect you to have been able to do every single task. That's crazy. I just want to see that you're able to get, for the most part, things working so that you can feel confident in your ability to morph and move shapes around in the After Effects canvas window. Okay, so these are the 3 files you need to turn into Canvas. All right, everybody, thanks. Bye.